Creative Media is a multimedia company which features film, photography, design and time-lapse. It is located in Hamilton East, New South Wales, Australia. They create various types of multimedia such as film, television, design, still photography, visual media, research and writing. They mainly work with health and education companies. They call themselves a boutique company. I sent my friend Sophia Nolan to Limelight Creative Media and she talked to their Managing Creative Director and owner, Ian Hamilton, and he gave an insight on their company, how it runs and the factors that contribute to their business. Here is what happened.
How are your staff organised in a hierarchical or linear way, and what are each of their roles? Do they have high-scale jobs and lower-scale jobs?
So, we're a small company, so we've got myself, I'm a producer, director. All of our staff are all multi-skilled, so nearly all of us can do parts of each other's jobs. But in terms of the hierarchy, there's myself, I'm a director, I own the company with my wife, who's a producer. She also writes, researches, and do creative on projects. So we own the company, and then we've got a producer who's a very experienced Kate. She's basically our sort of a person who does a lot of the hands-on organisation. And then we've got Jono, who's our editor, and he's also a producer and can direct and write. And then there's Paul, who's another full-time employee. So they're all full-time employees at the moment. That's the core team. What's that? 5 people. And then we also have a designer who's like a freelance person who works for us, who's like, so she's a sort of art director, designer. She does all of our sort of, or most of our brochures and bigger jobs in web development and that kind of thing. And we bring her in on a sort of casual basis. So the hierarchy though is that we're a team, we're an ensemble team. So I'd say we've got a pretty flat hierarchical system. We know each other's jobs. There's a lot of mutual respect, and so there's a lot of mutual respect, collaboration, and flexibility in the workplace, which for Anna and I is a great support.
How does your company find potential customers? Do you promote by social media, or do you put up flyers?
So we've been in this business for 20 years or so. And probably the way we find business is through word of mouth.
How is your work normally created? What is the process you go through?
So usually we get asked to pitch for a job based on a brief, whether it's a still photography job, whether it's a big film job, or an independent piece that we are interested in start ourselves. So if we go into the commercial part of it, basically we get a brief from a client, we quote on the brief. They accept the job and we start research, which is to look at the locations, cast, the kind of subject matter, the key points that we need to get across within those films, photography. The team, mainly Kate, will work with us and plan out the shoot, the dates, the cast, the people. We'll be developing the writing and scripting and negotiating, collaborating with our partners till we arrive at a signed off tick script that they've accepted and bought, and then we'll go into at the same time organising dates for shooting, and then the shoot comes, we shoot the content straight into post-production, which is like editing, whether it's still photographs or film. That goes back to the clients for their revisions, and it comes back, finally gets sign off, and then we distribute it to them and they send it out to their sort of clients, basically.
What are the main features of your company's buildings? How many offices and studios do you have to create your work?
So essentially, we have just moved from a warehouse, which was we bought and was designed to do a lot of studio photography. It was a space that the company worked in. We've got 2 purpose places that are built, but we often film in here as well. So a lot of sort of work we do is on location, so we don't often film in studios. That's a style of work that we do. When we do though, we'd use this area in the house outside, in that back area, which is like for photography shoots or whatever.
What is the main tool software used by your company?
Hardware are like our cameras, so a range of 35mm cameras, still cameras that also shoot video as well, then purpose digital film cameras, time-lapse kits, so a lot of hardware in terms of a range of camera equipment and lighting, and then there's a whole computer software, so the hardware is quite powerful Mac technology, supported with professional software, editing software, still software, which is pretty industry standard.
What specialist staff is needed in your company to create special media?
Well, I'd say we tend to specialise a lot in health. So at the moment, because our interests change, but at the moment, and pretty much, I can't see it changing because it's pretty much our passion. My wife, who's also a GP, I'd say she's got quite a specialist background in subject matter. But the other specialisations are really directing, so my directing. So I've done a lot of broadcast feature films, television. That's how we get work. So it's pretty much the mix of my specialised knowledge in big budget films and Anna's knowledge in health. Also animation. Animation's quite specialised, so the team will make, it'll take a brief and do a whole animation, which is very specialised digital. It's also they do hand-drawn animation, which is again more specialised in itself. And then there's colour grading, which Paul does, which is his probably specialisation. So colour grading films and photographs is a whole world in itself.
Does your company use mass production methods?
Yeah, so basically these days we used to produce, DVD, CDs to send out to thousands, and we would sort of commission subcontract other companies to do that. But since the kind of, I guess, the sort of uptake of the internet and all the distribution modes have changed, so now we don't. We will post to our client, and they'll just deliver it usually by email.
What non-renewable resources do the company use? Meaning fossil fuel resources.
So I guess like most places we use a fair bit of paper, like scripts. We recycle the paper, stationery, paperwork, that kind of thing, but we sort of recycle that and we use it for writing another, we'll print thousands of pages of scripts on a big job and then turn that over and use the other side or whatever and then recycle it. The other thing we used to do was, what we've done in the last 5 years is, because we use a lot of power with the computers and stuff that we're using and air conditioning and whatnot, we've turned to solar power, and that's made a huge difference. So we're basically saving, it was like $1,200 a quarter in electricity costs just by having solar.
What resources, materials does your company reuse or recycle?
Like I said, we recycle paper. Interestingly enough, we recycle coffee grounds. So it's great working from home because there's a lot of coffee that gets consumed here and it goes straight into the garden.
What pollution does your company create?
Fuel. So we a lot of location filming. So we're driving long distances. Our cars are pretty economical. They're both diesel. Decommissioned. So other pollution, other waste is old equipment.
Is there any environmental government legislation that your company needs to adhere by? Rules and regulations for the company?
Not that I know of. I mean, I'm sure there's some sort of I think what we produce is fairly low in creating. Its environmental impact is very low.
What issues facing the multimedia industry are shared by your company? Do you require regular training, or is your technology rapidly changing? What else?
I guess one of the issues is that, and it's partially positive out of the digital sort of revolution, is that filmmaking and multimedia, we'll call it filmmaking, whatever, was pretty much probably more difficult to do because equipment was more expensive. Through the democratization of digital media, it means that everyone shoots with cameras, everyone's got audio, and so they're doing it at a different level than we do it. But it means there's more competition of people making their own content, which means there's less work potentially for people like us. I wouldn't say so. It's forever changing. It's just upgrading. But I'd say it's not disruptive. It's not huge. It's so basically going from film. So our company's been sort of, when I left university, I was taught to make films on film. Years later, for the whole era of this our company, 20 years, it's all been digital technology. So it's all just sort of small increments. Our shared sort of, our training is sort of in-house. I teach a lot. I try and bring that back. The guys, because they're interested in their jobs and it's their career, they're interested in themselves. So they read their own stuff, and we collaborate and discuss, trends, common sort of differences, how to do the work. So we have debriefs on the work we do. How can we do it better?
What are the relationships between your staff like? Do you have a close relationship or strictly business only?
I'd say we've got a really good relationship with our staff. It's sort of like a family ensemble. We look after each other. It's not just directly about money. It's about relationships and it's about support and mutual respect. So yeah.
Do the workers belong to a union? What course or training are required to start with this company? Do you need a certain degree or amount of training? What are the career opportunities like in this field? What job roles are available in your company? For example, operator, owner, and photographer? What are some examples of WH&S signage used by the company? Do you need to put up any at your work? What are the key WH&S considerations workers should be aware of in your company? What personal protective equipment is used in your workplace? How are safe works practices implemented and monitored? Is there a step-by-step way to do your job safely? How is first aid concerns prepared, meaning kits and training personnel? How are hazardous materials handled? Is there a special way to do so? Thank you for your time, Mr. Hamilton, and that is the inside of the Limelight Creative Media Company.